The global organ shortage is a critical emergency. Every day, the gap between the waitlist and available donors widens. But inside this facility, a revolution is quietly taking shape. We are no longer waiting for donors. We are building solutions.
As you can see, the bioprinter creates a perfect match. We can schedule the transplant for next week.
That's incredible, Doctor.
Through a process called reprogramming, we turn these adult cells back in time, converting them into induced pluripotent stem cells.
We reset their biological clock to zero. These cells now possess the potential to become any tissue in the human body.
But raw cells are loose and unstructured. To build an organ, we need to create an environment where they can thrive and organize.
This is the BioInk. We suspend the living cells in a nutrient-rich hydrogel, a substance that mimics the body's natural extracellular matrix. The consistency must be perfect, viscous enough to hold its shape when printed, but fluid enough to keep the delicate cells alive.
It is a delicate recipe of biology and chemistry, homogenized to ensure an even distribution of life within the gel. This complex geometry is translated into millions of lines of G-code, instructions that tell the printer exactly where to place every cell.
These aren't standard 3D printers. They are sterile, climate-controlled environments designed to handle living matter.
Precision is non-negotiable. Lasers calibrate the nozzle position down to the single micron.
Even a microscopic misalignment could cause the internal vascular channels to collapse.
The process begins with the scaffold. A biodegradable polymer provides the initial skeleton.
This rigid lattice will support the softer cellular material, holding the organ's shape against gravity.
Into this framework, the BioInk is deposited. Millions of stem cells are placed into their specific designated zones.
But a solid block of tissue would die from the inside out. We must engineer a blood supply.
We print a sacrificial ink, a temporary material that lays down the pathways for veins and capillaries.
The architecture is incredibly complex, requiring the printer to defy gravity as it builds hollow tubes.
Layer by layer, the two materials, the permanent cells and the temporary support, are woven together. UV light passes over each layer, instantly cross-linking the hydrogel and locking the cells into position.
It is a slow, rhythmic accumulation of matter. Over hours, a digital file becomes a physical object.
As it rises, the distinct anatomical curvature of a kidney or heart section begins to emerge.
The printing is finished, but the work is far from over. This is currently just cells trapped in gel. It must be handled with extreme care. The construct is fragile, like soft jelly.
We flush the organ with a warm solution. The sacrificial ink melts away, leaving behind a pristine network of empty tunnels.
These hollow channels are the synthetic vasculature, the artificial veins that will keep the organ alive.
The organ is moved to a bioreactor, a specialized chamber that mimics the conditions inside the human body.
Here, it is submerged in a nutrient-rich bath, kept at exactly 37 degrees Celsius.
We connect pumps to the printed veins. Perfusion begins, forcing oxygen and nutrients deep into the core of the tissue.
This simulated blood flow wakes the cells. It signals them that they are part of a larger system.
We introduce specific growth factors, chemical signals that tell the stem cells what to become.
Over the next few weeks, a transformation occurs. The stem cells differentiate, turning into muscle, lining, or filtration tissue.
They reach out,
forming physical connections with their neighbors, fusing the layers together.
The fragile, translucent print slowly matures into a dense, robust piece of living flesh.
It is no longer just a print. It is living tissue. But structure isn't enough. The organ must function. We subject the tissue to mechanical stress. It must be strong and elastic, just like the real thing. For heart tissue, we use electrical stimulation to train the muscle fibers to beat in unison. Under the microscope, we look for the spark of life, a synchronized rhythm. And there it is, independent rhythmic contraction, a man-made heartbeat.
For liver or kidney tissue, we test filtration. Can it process toxins? Can it do the work of an organ?
We slice samples for histological analysis, checking the cellular organization at the deepest level.
Fluorescent staining confirms that the cells are healthy, viable, and correctly aligned.
Only when it passes every rigorous test is the tissue deemed ready for use.
Because we use the patient's own cells, there is no risk of rejection. The body recognizes this tissue as its own. Before we implant, these tissues serve another purpose. They are perfect models for drug testing.
The vascular structure here is more complex than anticipated.
Yes,
So,
but the bioprint matches the scan data perfectly at this juncture.
We are already printing skin for burn victims and cartilage for ear reconstruction.
Simple structures are a reality today. But the goal is something much more complex.
The grand challenge is scaling up, moving from patches and parts to full, solid, functioning organs.
We are crossing that frontier now. The blueprints are becoming reality.
In operating rooms around the world, the wait is ending.
What was once science fiction is now a medical procedure.
We are entering a new era. An era where we don't just treat the human body, we can rebuild it.
The sequencing data on screen 3 looks promising.
Yes, the patterns align with the hypothesis. We should run the validation cycle.
Scaling this technology means treating not just one patient, but thousands.
Data drives biology. Every print improves the algorithm for the next. Maintenance is constant. In a factory of living things, sterility is the law.
The raw materials are simple: nutrients, sugars, proteins. The result is complex.
For every breakthrough, there are thousands of hours of repetitive labor.
Human oversight remains the most critical component of the loop.
We finally did it. It's stable.
This facility represents the pinnacle of convergent science.
Personalized medicine means every product has a specific name attached to it.
Automated cleaning cycles ensure no cross-contamination between prints.
Failures happen. But in research, every failure is a data point.
It takes a village of experts: biology, engineering, physics, and coding.
We look closer, always trying to improve the resolution of nature.
Our library of cells is stored at -80 degrees, ready to be woken up. These are the blank canvases, waiting for the paint of life.
Specialized biopolymers provide the temporary strength needed for construction. Time is the one variable we cannot rush. Biology has its own speed.
Purity is paramount. One contaminant could ruin months of work.
Trial and error. We refine the code, we adjust the mixture.
When the fluid flows without leaking, we know we have succeeded.
Logistics. A constant stream of consumables keeps the factory running. Redundancy. We cannot afford a power outage when life is in the incubator.
Safety first, always.
In this single drop, there are 1 million potential cells.
Sealed against the outside world, ready for its journey.
The final leg of the journey is always a race.
Vitals are stable, ready for induction.
Double check the cross-match, please.
Scalpel ready.
And here, the machine resets.
A new patient file is loaded.
The process begins again.
We are proud of what we build here.
A beacon of innovation.
One heartbeat at a time.
This is the future of medicine.